Good morning, it's Suze here, and just want to say once again thank you so much for joining the class. I'm going to start by taking you through the kit. So this is what you'll get in your kit when it arrives or when you collect it. Obviously not the finished card because that's my sample, but what you'll get is a very rustic design. My printer seems to have printed it out a bit slightly fuzzy, so but anyway, that's the best I can do, I'm afraid. But that's good enough for you to be able to work with. And what I've done is I've given you two of these so that if you wanted to make your card, you have the card size. That's taken from this. If you wanted to complete the design in your stitch book, then this would be one of your stitch book pages, which the stitch book was something that we did in an earlier class. So this is the size that you would use for your stitch book. You would just go inside a little bit to actually create the frame, but that would be the size of the page you'd be working on. So that's why you've got two pieces of design, and you may find that actually if you're working on the bigger one to make the card, the little one is one that you can cut out, as I'll show you as we go through. There's bits and pieces you can cut out to help give you a steer on positioning of bits and pieces. Let's put the other light on so you can see a bit better. So you'll get your design. You will also get in your kit, you will get the card blank and envelope, which is 5x7. So that's what I used. You'll get your backing fabric. And I've given you quite a large piece because ideally you want to work in a 7-inch hoop, and this is just the right size to go through that. And then what I tend to do is pop that in the hoop, and then I cut the corners off so that I don't end up stitching them underneath, which is so easy to do when you've got those loose corners. So I'll tell you about the hoop and the other things. I'll pop a file up to let you know what you actually need to provide yourselves, but there's not a lot, to be honest. A hoop, needles, scissors, that kind of thing. So the other parts of your kits, you will get 3 sets of bobbin holders. Don't know if that's what they're called, but these little things that hold your threads, thread holders. And on the thread holders you'll have your pink. If I bring the sample back in, I can show you where these go. So the pink is what you'll use for your French knots on your blossom. The sequin thread is what you'll use around the outside, and the white is what you will use for your snowdrops. On this one you've got the 3 colours which are wrapped together because you'll thread them together and use them together, and you'll use those for your tree, the skeleton of the tree, and for your fence. And the bit that's over it is what you'll need first. So this is what you'll use for your frame and to couch down your sequin thread. So you'll use that up before you come to this, so that's why that's wrapped over the top like that. And then lastly you've got your grasses or snowdrop stems. At some point, you know, I'm going to call them snowflakes if I haven't already. I've just got this mental blank about calling the snowdrop snowflakes. So these will be for the grasses. So most of this will be the stems, but if you've got some left you could use it up just doing some more, just some grasses to give a bit of texture. You've also got your beading threads. Now your beading thread is what you'll use to go round your tree, and you'll do the blossoms before you come to this. So you'll, if you have any of the beading thread left, which you should have, I think I've been quite generous with the beading thread, you'll use that for the beads at the bottom. And if you do run out, you can just use any of this sort of thread that you've got left over, or you could just use a green thread that you've got at home. But there should be enough for all of that. And then, so that's your grasses, your beading, and the top one here is just to do your little pretties. There's a good chance I'll forget to do those, but that's what the grey's for. Okay, so that's all your threads. You've got 2 bags of beads, so you've got the pink beads for the blossom, and you've got the green beads to go around the base of the tree. So again, that's and bottom. And you've got, as well as your working fabric, your background fabric, you've got green fabric, and that's what you'll use to trim across here. And this is where your pattern comes in, because you'll use your pattern. So before you start, you want to cut your fabrics down to size. So work out how much, and again, this is why you can cut this out if you want to, if that makes it easier. So then you can line it up and just cut your fabric. So I'll show you what I'll do. I'll work out, so I want my green fabric to go about there. So I'll snip it about here. And then I'm just going to tear that, and that's about the right size. I won't bother trimming the sides down until the end, because when we finish we'll cut down around the edges anyway. So that will be a base. Your blue organza, what you will do with your blue organza is you will, hopefully you've got quite a nice chunky piece there. You should find that there's enough to cut a whole section here, and then if you want to have it this dark, you will double it over, and you need to just make sure that that tucks under the green. If you want a lighter shade, you would just use one layer, and that will give you a lighter blue, like this. So this is one layer, and this is two, onto the same background curtain lining. So you can see the difference in the tone. This is slightly lighter. So it's up to you. If you want to keep enough of your fabric to make another project, then why not? And you'll also have your green organza. So what you will do is you will, using your template, you'll work out how much of this you want. Then you'll work out how much of this that you want and trim that down. I would cut this rather than tearing it, because it can distort the fabric quite a lot. So just play about with it, work out which way you want it to go. Do you want some fluffy bits at the top? You could always fray those anyway to give yourself a bit of texture at the top. So cut that down to size as well, and then you've got your blue, which you will also cut down. And the way that you will layer these up on top of your backing fabric is you will have your backing fabric in the hoop, you will draw a rectangle, which I'll show you how to do, then you'll lay your single or double layer, and it will be cut, but this is coming from one of the kits, so I'm not going to cut it. And then you'll have your green fabric and your green organza on top, and I'll show you what to do next with those when I get started. So that is what you get in your kit: your backing fabric, 2 lots of organza, your green fabric, 2 sets of beads, and let me count how many threads there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 sets of threads. Plus you'll also get your design template, your card and envelope, and also on the group I will pop down the measurements which go along with the patterns, so that you know you can cut a piece of card out if you want to size, to help you draw around onto your fabric. I'll also put the written instructions as well, so that if you want to be able to do this remotely and not have access to the internet, you've still got the written instructions. You could put those in your kit if you wanted to and take those away with you. So that's your kit. I shall get going with the tutorial next.